thanks everyone for coming. I always say that CARMA is like my favorite day of the year, and it is. I was so excited to see some of last year's CARMA bags on the way in from some of you repeaters. And I don't know if that just means that the bags are really awesome or if it means that the content's great, hopefully both. So I'm going to kick us off and intro the day a little bit. And I'm going to start with a story. This is a little bit of a real-life story from someone who works here at Custora, mixed in with a case study of a brand that we work with. Actually, Chelsea, who put on all of the logistics behind this fine event, is a big avid runner, big avid fitness person in general. And she bought a pair of sneakers, and she was excited about it. And after about a month, this took place about a year ago, she had a problem with the shoe. Shoe had a little hole in it, too much running. And but what was really cool is she came in and, working for Custora, she always has an ear out for these things. And she was like, I just had the most amazing customer service experience, right? I emailed customer service and told them I had a problem with the shoe that I bought last month. I immediately got a response within 5 minutes from like a human being, not one of these AI bots. And they were just like, just come in, we'll send you one, or if you're near a store, just walk into the store, tell them what happened, everything will be taken care of. So she was like, okay, and she happened to be right near a store. So she walks into the store, she tells them her name and says, hold on one sec, and they pull it up right there and they see all the correspondence over email, they understand what happened to her online, and they immediately restocked the shoe for her, no questions asked. It was completely seamless. And she came into the office and she was like, this is it. Like, this is customer 360, on the channel data, they got it like in all these places, this is incredible. And we were all like really, as we all do, getting like really nerdy and geeked out about this. We're like, oh, this is awesome. But then the things that this brand had put together in order to make that happen, we all knew all the hard work that went into it, right? So of course, in order for them to have the online data and the customer support system and the offline data, right? The offline, the POS and the clienteling extension there, they had to have everything together. And the other thing that all of us in the room talk about so much is personalization and activation, and they had that. In this case, it was sort of the immediate response on the digital channel and then the response through the real world, through the rep in the store. And so it was a great example of all of this, and we were all really, really psyched. But then if you fast forward, the story didn't necessarily have the happiest ending. So another month later, and the product still got another hole in it. And she kind of went through the same process again. And after the shoe had the same issue again, a little bit down the road, she just stopped shopping there. So a year later, she's no longer a happy customer of this brand. And if we kind of flip things into the inside of the retail organization, there were some really interesting conversations taking place. Because we were sitting there with some of the marketing leaders and leaders in the company, and they were like, man, we invested so much. We got our data together. We actually are like maybe one of the, we're in the 1% that has found a way to get online and offline, all these things together, and we got the store reps rocking it. Yet we're still losing an avid fitness, great customer. Like, what's going on? Yeah, okay, we're getting our incremental return that we want. The investments are paying off, but we got a massive problem here. Because Chelsea's not alone, right? We lost 25% of our customers year over year. Like, this is a big problem, right? All of the marketing benefits that we're getting are paling in comparison to the loss that we're having from customers who no longer shop here. And so the CEO of this company said two things that just stuck in the back of my mind, right? The first thing is, what the hell is going on, right? Why are we losing customers? And the second question was, and who's in charge of this? Like, who's actually looking at the customer churn problem, right? And nobody at that executive table raised their hand. And that's sort of the state of the challenge of being customer-centric today. First of all, are we aware of the metrics that are truly impacting the business, the customer KPIs that really dictate whether or not we as a brand are going to grow or we're going to stagnate in a very competitive world? And number two, are we organized and are we actually launching initiatives? Are we spending our time on the right things? And so, if you think about the customer experience for a minute and what builds loyalty, the concept of loyalty, right? Why we're kind of all here, why we care about customer analytics, it's a lot, right? Think of yourself as a consumer. You're a loyal customer because you love the products that you buy first and foremost, right? You love the communication that the brand gives to you. You love what the experience is like in the store. You love when you get your stuff really quickly on time. And in Chelsea's experience, a lot of those boxes were checked, right? She got a product she thought she was going to love. She got the items right away. She had wonderful communication. But the customer experience, loyalty, it goes beyond email. It goes beyond just digital activation. It's the whole thing, right? It's like the whole 360 experience, if you want to think of it that way. And in order to pull that off, it takes a lot of people inside of your company. This is, right, think about, in order to deliver the shoes quickly to someone like Chelsea, you've got the entire supply chain. In order to, in the story herself, she had the customer service involved, obviously marketing involved, and putting the technology in place. Were the products right? In this case, that's where the challenge really was. And what ended up happening, if we kind of fast forward a little bit here, is this brand actually made some really interesting realizations. Chelsea wasn't alone in her challenges with this product line. And it was also interesting because Chelsea was a huge fan of this company for buying shoes in the past that really, really worked well for her. But she moved into the city and her lifestyle changed, and she was actually using the shoes in a little bit more of a cross-trainery way, right? And in the city, you get wear and tear, and the shoes broke down. And this brand, when they found that it was not Chelsea alone, but rather a large pocket of good, valuable customers concentrated in cities, that's the kind of customers that they were losing, right? When you really double-clicked into who are the high-value customers we're losing this year, those were the kinds of things that popped out, and it has launched a lot of thinking on the product side of the house of what new products should we launch later, right? And so the point of this story is, yes, we can't do anything without the data together. Yes, we need to have that personalization and digital activation. Without it, Chelsea wouldn't have been raving about us in our office, but we also have to get into the next phase, right? And that's the title of this little keynote is On the Cusp. And the next phase is really thinking about how customer data can impact the way the whole business operates, right? And it isn't an either or, and these things don't always happen in sequential order, right? You're kind of always working on all of these things. But what this brand did was, first of all, start to operationalize the fact that we have a metric like customer retention that is a key metric. And like any business, we are what we measure, we are what we optimize. And so they started focusing on that. And in order to understand the Chelsea and turn Chelsea into a repeat buyer, we have to look and we as the stewards of customer analytics, whatever you call it in your org, right? You're the customer analytics team, you're the CRM team, you're the marketing team, right? We are the stewards of these insights that can really transform the way that we deliver on the customer experience, but we have to take those insights to the rest of the organization. And the theme of today is kind of, so how do we do that? How do we walk the walk of customer centricity? So much buzzwords, so much stuff. Our industry is riddled with buzzwords, from the 360 to the AI-driven, on-the-channel personalization, right person, right message, right time, and all the way up to this transformative blah, 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 like customer centricity. So what does it mean to walk the walk? And that's what we want to get into today. And instead of us sitting here on our soapbox, feedback that we've gotten from all these conferences before, we try to create an agenda filled with speakers who can tell you how they're doing it, how they're bringing these customer insights across different teams in the organization. And so we'll have Glow Concepts talking about customer acquisition within the world of marketing and how to tailor their acquisition efforts on the customers that are likely to stick around the most. We'll hear how Kenneth Cole is using customer insights and bringing them into the product and merchandising side of the business. Really fascinating use cases over there. We'll talk to Jenny Kane, who's using customer analytics as they plan store openings. We'll talk to Taylor Stitch, who's talking about the customer service side of things and integrating customer insights into every single touch point, again, outside of just email and beyond. And we'll have an academic session later with Professor Fader, who we hold near and dear to our heart. The CLV books you see lying around are inspired by a lot of his research, talking about how customer metrics are starting to influence the financial side of the business as well, as brands are setting forecasts on the year, and as brands are, as analysts are valuing companies not just based on year-over-year sales year-over-year, but based on concepts like customer equity. And so there's really a nice platter of stuff. We hope that you walk out of the day today and you, between us and the partners that we'll talk about a little bit, but you have most of the time to either talk to our customers or talk to them directly about ways to activate data, ways to bring your data together, ways to activate the data. There's tons of marketing applications and marketing case studies that I hope we spark some good ideas. But we also hope that you come back home to your teams and you have some ideas on things that the merch team might like, or things that the finance team or the customer service team might like, because that is how all together we really can use customer insights to promote customer loyalty. And we have a few surprises, because we can't do CARMA without being a little bit cheesy, because we're a room filled with marketers, and that's fun. For those of you who have been here before, you kind of know the theme. For those of you who haven't, we like to sing and dance a little bit, and so we're going to infuse some of that in here. That'll happen midday. And we also, coming out of last year, I think some of the big changes is hearing more from our customers and hearing them talk the talk, a few more breaks. We kind of lightened up the denseness of the stuff. And so we really want you to have a chance to talk to each other as well, because we know that a lot of what you gain is from that part of the day as well. So with that, thank you again for coming. And I think I will pass it back to Sam to introduce our first session of the day.